What's up, everyone? It's your boy JP, and today we're talking about A Way Out. It's an action-adventure cooperative game developed by Hazelight Studios and published by EA through the EA Originals program. It was released yesterday, March 23rd, for Microsoft Windows, Xbox, and PS4. Now, I just want to start the video off by letting everybody know there won't be any spoilers for the campaign in this video. I've been seeing a lot online about how, don't read or watch anything on the game, experience it for yourself, and I'm a true believer in that. I absolutely agree. Do not spoil it. Play the game for yourself, so you won't be seeing anything you haven't already seen in this video. Now, I've been looking forward to this game since it was announced. A friend and I, we've been playing the game together since we were kids. We are really into the co-op games. For a while there, to be honest, co-op was kind of drying up a little bit. The past year or two, it's kind of making a comeback, mostly in the way of, competitive online shooters, stuff like that. But there has been some games recently that taken a step in the right direction. This game can be a great example for future games. We'll get into that in a little bit. As is always said about games, this game is truly unique. It truly deserves that label, and I'll get into that also in the video ahead. And something that is awesome that needs to be said right off the bat is you only need one copy to play this game with a friend. So obviously when you're on the couch you only need one copy, but if you're in two separate locations, two different consoles, one copy is all that's needed. I'm surprised with a big name publisher involved there that they allowed that, but I mean, it's kind of necessary. You're making people play only cooperatively. It kind of makes sense. So it's a $30 game. Split it with your friend, $15 each, plus tax, whatever. It's a pretty great deal. Okay, so I'm going to start off by talking about the basics. I'm playing this game on Xbox One S. I thought the graphics looked awesome. I'm personally only allowed to put out 1080p with no advanced settings because of the capture card I'm currently using. The gameplay mechanics are really cool, but what sets this game apart from most games is how unique it really is. A few examples of that would be on-screen couch co-op even when online. So like I said before, it doesn't matter if you're sitting side by side on the same couch or in your own home playing the game, you're seeing the exact same thing as the other person. Which means you can see and hear everything in the game. If your partner's talking to somebody, you can see and hear the whole thing. If they start a dialogue in the middle of your cutscene, you can listen to it, which isn't necessarily ideal, but it's very much like old school cooperative games in the way that you can see everything that's done in the game by either player. Now, another cool thing about this game is that everything is done as a team. Whether you're distracting a guard for your friend to get their objective done, or you're creating a diversion, or you're doing something together, opening a door together, boosting up your teammate, everything is done as a team. Another thing about this game is that it doesn't really hold your hand. There's no list of objectives that you need to complete on the top left of the screen, no step-by-step instructions, but it does imply things to you. Like in this clip I'm showing you here, we were sitting on top of a roof to mop some tar on the roof, very much like a scene from Shawshank Redemption, but we had our own objective when we were up there, so we had to figure out a way to do it. There was nothing holding our hand telling us what to do, but there was a button prompt, so I held right trigger. My guy snapped his broom in half, told the guy that his mop was broken. That guard sent me to another guard to get a new mop. When the guard took my mop into the room to get a new mop, that gave us a window of opportunity to complete our objective. So I boosted up my friend, and I go back to the door and receive my new mop. Now there's stuff like that all over the game. That just shows you there that you kind of got to figure your own way out of situations. Now, I do believe what you say in dialogue actually matters. For example, in an early part of the game, I was doing something in my cell and I couldn't get caught, so my teammate had to distract the guard. And when you distract the guard, a couple of dialogue options pop up and you have a limited time to answer it. So you kind of feel rushed. You got enough time to read them and choose, but you got to be quick, and he chose the wrong option. Now, it's just like in real life. If you ask the guy a stupid question, he's not going to answer. He's going to keep walking. So he, by accident, chose something like, how much do you make in a year? The guy laughed it off, continued walking. I got caught. Game over. We had to respawn. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I do believe as the game progresses, you're going to have to use the dialogue option more and more, and I do believe what you say matters. So if you would pick the right option, he sits there, talks to you for a minute, it gives your partner an extra minute or two to get away or continue what they're doing, whatever they're trying to do. And another thing about this game that's really cool is you always have a job or a purpose, and you never feel useless. So even if your partner's doing the primary objective, you still have a purpose, like distracting a god, like I've talked about. Or even when your partner's in a cutscene, you can still be actively doing stuff, walking around, doing whatever you're doing. You can be watching them. You know, it's really cool in that respect. Another thing too that's unique is the game is always live. So there was a point where we both hit pause and the game's still active. I think, you know, if you both hit pause, the game should pause, but it's important to know the game is always live. And as I talked about in cutscenes, you know, the other guy can still do stuff, etc., etc. And now, another thing I really wanted to mention was that the beginning of the game is really kind of linear. I think that's to be a tutorial of some sort. You know, they just want to show you how to get through these situations, what to do, what you can do. I hope at least to see in the game later on that you can get out of scenarios with a few different options. I'll give you an example. There was one part where we had to get out of a room, and the only way to do it was to go inside of a laundry bin. My partner had to put sheets on top of me, and the guard checks it, doesn't see anything, takes the cart in. Now, I would hope later in the game there's more than one option, but I cannot definitively say if there is. Okay, so I wanted to get into talking about the early game a little bit without giving anything away. I want to get back to what I talked about with the buy one copy, 2 people to play. So there's this thing on Xbox at least called Friends Pass. All I had to do, there's a couple different ways to do it, but I think the easiest way is the way we ended up doing it. And all you have to do is whoever bought the game gets it, downloads it. You go into the main menu, go into play online, and you hit invite friend. You invite the friend you want to play. Now from there, the friend you invited will be prompted to do a few things. They'll download the game, and it will be ready to play for both of you. As easy as that. Now, I really wanted to make a point in this video to praise that decision where you only need 1 copy to play with 2 players. I think that's phenomenal. I think more studios should do stuff like this. Again, granted, they kind of had to because they're forcing you to play this game cooperatively. You cannot play by yourself. So it was kind of a must, but still surprising to see from a big publisher like EA to allow that. So now I'm going to get into a little bit of the early game stuff. Again, there won't be any spoilers. Most of the stuff you see or hear here is going to be stuff you already may have seen or stuff that's not important to the campaign at all. So the first thing you're prompted to do is to pick your character. Now, the character selection is pretty cool. It gives a brief description of both guys. Brief but detailed. My friend and I picked the ones that we were more like. You can pick whoever you want to play, whoever you want to be like, whatever floats your boat. And another thing I noticed about this is that they're in a plane. After you pick your guys, they start talking about the mission you're about to do in the past tense. So I don't know if this is them on their way to the last mission in the game, or them right after the first mission. I'm not quite sure yet, but that was interesting to me. Now, when you first put into the game, like I said, it seems to me like the first, hour and a half is kind of like a tutorial. You really see the glory of the game when it first starts because as player 1, you're in the bus on the way into the prison, as you've seen in gameplay trailers. The other player is already in the prison, so you're already seeing it from this dual perspective point of view, and that's when you really see how cool this game can be. One last thing I wanted to say about the game is I think this is kind of obvious based on the name, but the whole game is finding a way out of all the scenarios, whether they be big or small. Like, you have a main objective. Like, everybody knows you're trying to break out of this prison, right? That you're trying to find a way out of the prison. But you're also trying to find a way out of all these little scenarios. You need to complete all these tasks to get to break out of the prison, right? So you need to find a way out of the prison and a way out of all these different scenarios, right? So I thought that was cool to mention. I personally think this game is awesome so far. I haven't really seen anything negative about it. I think PC Gamer ranked it like 60 something. I don't know how. I haven't completed the game yet. Maybe because it's a short game. I'm not sure. As far as I can see, this game is really good so far. I'm going to have more videos on it upcoming. And I also wanted to mention this is my first video I've ever done. So please be gentle, but I don't mind any constructive criticism. Please comment. Let me know what I should do better. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. Obviously, like and subscribe. I didn't realize until I started doing this how important that is to YouTubers. It means a lot. It helps them a lot. Even just watching a full video will help them a lot. So if you made it this far, thank you very much. Subscribe. I'm going to be putting out as much content as I can. I put a ton of work into this channel, into this video. I'm on all social media. I'll have the links below in the description. And like I said, just let me know what you liked and didn't. I'll be paying attention. I'll respond. And thanks for your views. Alright, have a good one, guys.